Good evening, viewers, watchers, and listeners. We will resume play with the book entitled The Sacraments of Eternity. I hope all is well out there. Let us resume play. Let us continue. We are actually concluding a chapter, I'd like to just say. In case any of you have forgotten what chapter we are in, I know the chapter. I just don't remember it exactly, all of it, because it's pretty long. So this chapter is called, I Bless You All for Finding the True Path, the Path of Verity and Understanding. So we are now concluding that chapter. Let us do so. God, and only Him, look at you righteously. You look the other side. I think it's not for long. When you are leaving, go. If you do it unconsciously, do not slam the door through which you entered. It was your choice to leave. It makes sense. And I repeat, your life from Alpha to Omega is in this meaning. More often, try to appeal to the truth in your thoughts and never fall to the depth of unsparkled darkness. I am holding everything you ever dreamed about and made your plans about. I keep it, and I want to see you, all of you, and all of your smiling faces. No need in tears. However, cry for yourself. But not for me. I paid in full for you. You may disagree and accuse me of something. What is the accusation you won't explain? Although it is easy to blame everyone, my power as a discharge of the thunder of heaven will live forever. I open my eyes to all that is prosperous and do not close it before all the negative. My power, or in my power, is spirituality, which shows the path for a revival of new civilized life. I was creating much in eternity. Throughout millennia, I have created very much. And I don't want to lose it all because of your indecent behavior. Because of your indecent being. I see you evade me. But to forget a parent is a huge sin. It represents weakness before the reborn and before those who gave rebirth to the consciousness. I hide nothing from you at the moment. I try to somehow smooth over and hide your deeds, but it is indecent for me to behave like this for the sake of the powers that rely on me in keeping an eye on you. My work looks special in your life. To resist the overmind means not to respect yourself, which is the loss of dignity, which is vital. Having lost yourself in the silent desert, you will not revive anything worthy, as the dry wind of your unbelief will carry the dust of ignorance beyond the horizon. It is impossible to keep up with the horizon. So keep everything in your dignity and your greatness. For in the greatness you will find the way to mutual understanding and gentle spiritual contact. The heavenly grace bore me, and it took me back. The grace showed me everything. There were you in this grace, but you burnt it out on purpose to see something incredible. I turned out to be simple, and you are what I said. Now, when you understand what you've done, you can't understand why you did it. It is difficult for you due to your weak mental ability. However, your brain is designed for much more. Again, you are killing everything beautiful in it, and your brain is you and me. I ask you to use your mind not for evil. Kindness must achieve its height and stay there for a long time. I urge you, do not destroy what has been created, as you can always create. But it will be impossible to recreate, as it is not who you created it. My request to you, save life for your own sake. Do not destroy it. Caress, kiss, rejoice in everything you find important to yourself and to those who will come after. I understand and read your mind. Why should I do it? Why do you live then? Why do you have kids? Is it for the suffering and inhumane agony? And suffering is a pain. Physical pain proves its existence. Spiritual pain is much harder than physical. Warm beams of light are blessing your souls. These beams do not ask anything in return, just respect and devotion. Faith strengthens the soul and the whole meaning of life. A human is bliss from God, and life is an integral part of this God's joy too. The connection clearly shows that the world around has not created itself. You have to understand, and when you do, you'll feel the purely spiritual satisfaction. Infusing into the divine flow of earthly life, you find yourself in the ocean of goodness and all the most amazing things. However, you often isolate yourself without noticing the beauty around you. In your delusions, you ruin yourself by creating the shell of disrespect. This broken spiritual shell often brings a person to direct degradation. I would like to see the opposite, to see everything safe and sound. So far, the common sense is sealed, and apparently for a long time. Disciple. Many people want to know, in temples and at home. Christians have icons depicting the face of God and saints, whereas other religions reject images, saying that no one has ever seen God. Who is right? Teacher. The latter are mistaken, namely those who say that no one has seen God. A lot of people saw the face of God, and many of them communicated with me. As for the icons, in my opinion, every soul can create the image of God, and no matter how that image looks, it will always be spiritual. A human soul always feels its creator and tries to depict him accordingly. You should admit that it is wonderful to look at the icons where the faces of God, human, are depicted. The feeling is incomparable to anything, as a spiritual warmth emanates from these images. Love and kindness enlighten everything around. Disciple. Jesus Christ was crucified on the cross, but when we appeal to God, we make a sign of the cross. May it be blasphemy? Teacher. For the sake of all saints, for the sake of all sacred, it is not blasphemy at all. It is a sign of respect to the holy, and it says, remember about me, as I suffered only for your well-being. Who believes and crosses him or herself will be saved. I've told enough. Disciple. In temples, Christians confess and repent their sins. According to the Bible, it is a great sacrament. Shall that be observed? If we do not observe fast, watch entertaining programs, have fun on holidays and birthday parties, etc. Teacher. There are 10 commandments. Which one shall observe? The most important? Never kill? The rest is your life and entertainments you invent not to feel bored with life. Of course, entertainment shall be within reasonable limits. When a person is laughing and singing, his soul is doing the same. There is no sin in here. Disciple. In the scriptures, including the Bible, our Creator is the representative of the highly developed civilization which controls life on the earth. Is it true? Teacher. Yes, it is true. God, Creator, is the only power of the great space. A lot has been explained in the Book of Eternity. People react differently. I mean, you have to deal with your doubts, and you can defeat it only if you believe in God. I understand you want to see your Creator, but the time has not come yet. It is close. Each of you will see it in all its greatness and abundance. Years, centuries, millennia go by and disappear behind the horizon, leaving their mark on the earth, giving birth to something new. Lifetime ends and goes to immortality. The degree of dignity. It is necessary and useful to share your dignity with God who gave birth. To the God who gave birth to you. No need to turn back and go away from yourself, and moreover, from the Creator. Sorry. Excuse me. To keep a sparkle of fire is a great honor, an honor given only to the keeper and Savior. You can exalt yourself, but may get something unacceptable. Consciousness is the spiritual web that covers the whole earth. It is this web. Everything is decided and solved, created and approved. There's no oppression, only spiritual abundance everywhere. Therefore, no one should strive for the exaltation every minute and every second. A moment of your life must be dedicated to all the sacred and sublime. And you should rejoice touching the purity, perfection, and greatness. A soul is the beginning. In the soul, there is a continuation of the initial beginning, and it is endless. Anything can be broken or smashed, but not God's soul. It is impossible, neither touch nor losses. Your image, yes, but your soul, never. As the power of the Creator is there. Of course, you can refute it, but when the time comes, you have to admit it. And in the moment of confession, you'll be ashamed for your belief and disrespect to your Creator. No forward is required. The meaning is to communicate with the subtle spiritual part of God's creation. You can imagine the great space as you wish. In its concept, you may either embellish it or diminish, but it remains extraordinary, the way it is designed to be. You can design anything by your thought, but destroy as well, and even those things which were designed by others. Think before you do. Everything is in your hands, so you can do anything. But with soul, then all of your life will change. I want this change. I want to see not tears, but smiles on your faces. I wish that every day would bring you joy. May the misfortune disappear from your life forever. May all the miseries that captured you so long disappear. Of course, I want to see it all, but so far, I have to face the opposite and often irrecoverable. Life is fantastic. It is impossible to deny. To save its beauty, you have to deserve it. It will always thank you with its tenderness and kindness. When it meets the indecent attitude, it will revenge through its fair conscience and honor too. So it is the time for serious thinking. Many centuries passed. They were different, ordinary, and not. Now is the time to summarize. You are on the threshold of the third millennium. And it means something. While there is still time, listen carefully to what was once already said. Then another angel came out of the temple and called in a loud voice to him who was sitting on the cloud. Take your sickle and reap, because the time to reap has come, for the harvest of the earth is ripe. End quote. Your destiny is in your hands. I ask you, save it. Disciple. Teacher, I feel, or maybe it just seems to me, there is a thread from your side. Am I right? Teacher, for God's sake, not thread, just teaching, not a material, but a spiritual one. You have to be attentive to this teaching as it comes from heaven. An ardent skeptic may refute, but the real human, I repeat, the real human must listen and understand it to the last word. As a man without mind is skeptic, which is possible to compare with a flower with no fragrance. A human who understands the meaning of my teaching, what I tell and what I preach is different, as he carries the beauty of the life and sweetness of your existence. Whoever honor and respect me, I am well-willed. Who disrespect me is embarrassed to pronounce my name. Those Disciple. Teacher, it is probably improper to ask, but I'll take a dare. In, let's say, 75 years, all those whom I see and know will die, and all visible will disappear. It scares me. Teacher, it is the second time you ask this. Listen again. You can't see it so far. That is why there are life and immortality. They are different. I teach that physical and spiritual things are compatible with each other, as in physical you see your beginning, your birth. And in spiritual, you see the continuation. In this continuation, you will see everything as if from behind the mirror. It is a different life, and it is very, very subtle. It does not have any weight, but it has everything. Don't worry, you'll see everyone and everything and even more. You may feel awkward at first. There was no other way to create light and the rest too. You look forward to the knowledge, and as soon as you get to know, you refute it. Often, you try to besmirch with your unbelief everything I gave you. So much interesting you may receive from me. I rejoice in this miserable amount that you accept. How much unimplemented spiritual information is in space? It is there in the limitless space of the universe. Excuse me. Disciple. Teacher, I apologize, but I cannot receive all messages. I know many of those who received information from you, from the great space. They could not bear mockery from around and stop communication. You know that, of course, as you are the one God who was crucified. So imagine how an ordinary person may resist it. Changing a life would be great. So far, so strange. What are we doing with our spiritual progress? Don't want to stand under the abyss, but often we see how this abyss eats conscious creation. Where is the way out? How to unthread a maze? Some people tell me, why do you write? Who will read it? It is disappointing to hear these people, even sad. They burn themselves. I think even if they do not believe in you, they must believe in themselves, must wake up and shake off the dust of their unbelief. Teacher, imagine if all people could think as you do. As you have just said, your spiritual progress would bring you to well-being and overall unity and understanding. Talking about the abyss, you notice who are those standing at the edge. They will decide what step to make. They may find relief and consolation. But I assure you, beginning of the third millennium will draw the line. There will be faith and unbelief on God's scale. And everything will be fairly weighed and settled by the law of the overmind. You may carry the cross differently, and in the process, you may feel differently. I was carrying it for you and was enjoying that I am suffering for people, and I ask each of you to carry your cross throughout your life, the cross of faith for the sake of me. Then you will really see the reason you live. If it becomes too heavy one day, ask me to help you. I swear, I will never deny helping. These are not just words. This is my spirituality, which pours onto all of you. Mind every word here, as the unbeliever will die in his ignorance, and the believer will be praised in my kingdom. I ask you, keep a sparkle of love to the whole kingdom of heaven and me in your souls. Disciple. Thank you, teacher, very much. I think who wants will believe. Who don't, let it be so. Read further. Though no words requires to understand. Dear readers, as I said in the beginning, we are concluding this chapter there. And we will continue another day in a new chapter in the book, The Sacraments of Eternity. Until then, I wish you all well out there. Thank you for joining us this evening. Readers, listeners, viewers, and watchers all. And again, until next time, fare thee well. Good night. God bless. And thank you.